Okay, so, these are small moves. It's not that big of a deal. That's why we're combining them both here into one video, because, let's be real, we can't go out there and make full-length video commentaries on each of these pieces of news individually. But we are talking about the Vancouver Canucks, we are talking about the Montreal Canadiens, and diving into the latest in roster transactions for both of these teams. Starting out early in the morning, Vancouver, 10:29 a.m., went out there and announced that forward Jonathan Lekkerimaki has been assigned to the Abbotsford Canucks in the AHL. And this is not that surprising of a move. Firstly, you have Lekkerimaki just coming back from injury, so obviously it was going to be a pretty long trek for him to come back. Why did I get logged out of my Elite Prospects page? That is annoying. Let's go out there and refresh everything over here. But essentially, because Lekkerimaki was injured for so long, we all recognized that it was never going to be a super easy, immediate trek back into the National Hockey League. Let's reload the page and see if it signs me back in over here. Ah, there you go. But Lekkerimaki did end up playing a little bit at both the Abbotsford and Vancouver level before getting sent back down. He was super productive with the Abby Canucks in that little stint after he got injured, and then had 4 games played with Vancouver this stint here. He wasn't even supposed to play yesterday against the Minnesota Wild, and he only had 6 minutes of time on ice regardless, so this guy wasn't really being able to utilized, and with the potential return of Nils Höglander coming on the horizon, it makes sense why Vancouver would be sending Lekkerimaki down. Look, the only reason he played yesterday is because Elias Pettersson wasn't good to go. It was going to be Lekkerimaki out and Evander Kane in, but because Pettersson was out, you had Lekkerimaki that was forced to play, and he only had 6 minutes regardless. This is what Canucks News Summaries went out there and said in the afternoon. Earlier, I tweeted that the Vancouver Canucks would need to make a couple of moves to activate Nils Höglander off of the LTIR. I've been informed that this is wrong, and the Canucks just needed to send Lekkerimaki to the AHL to clear enough space. This has to do with performance bonus pool and LTIR. Every day, I thank the heavens that I am not tasked with working in the National Hockey League to manage a team's salary cap and to do everything financially. Emily Castonguay, I trust that lady with Vancouver's entire money pool, because it's a pretty difficult job, and she, of course, is an agent, so I'd assume that she knows what she's doing when it comes to working things out with the money. Jean-Francois C. went out there and said this, that yeah, Lekkerimaki's cap hit can reach $1.393 million if there's not enough money in the LTI PB's pool to cover his performance bonuses. Exactly. I couldn't find where Puckpedia surfaces a team's performance bonus pool, and it wasn't accounted for when I was looking at the scenarios this morning, but it is a factor. Cap Friendly had it, but not on Puckpedia. It's not difficult to calculate. Okay, it's a lot of money talk that I honestly am not smart enough to understand. We can let Canucks News Summaries and Jean-Francois talk about it. But essentially, with Höglander's return just around the corner here, it does open up some roster moves that need to be done, and that's exactly what's happening here with Jonathan Lekkerimaki going down to the AHL. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Vancouver just recalled Lekkerimaki back like in a few days, just considering how much they seem to be doing these kinds of moves. Seems like a guy like Lukas Reichel could be out, they could be making a trade soon, and then maybe they'll have enough money to bring Lekkerimaki back up full-time, with Höglander in the lineup as well. Hoggy has not played a game this season. He is at 0 games. Of course, last year he had dipped to 25 points in 72 games played. We know what Höglander can be when he is at his best. He can be a goal scorer, and he provides a really good bite on the forecheck. But hey, we just gotta wait a little bit longer to see him potentially suit up for Vancouver. Speaking about guys suiting up in the NHL, let's talk about the latest with the Montreal Canadiens, because 15 minutes ago, the Montreal Canadiens had recalled goaltender Kaapo Kahkonen from the Laval Rocket. Sami Montembeault, who is sick, will not participate in tonight's game. Jakub Dobeš will be in net against the St. Louis Blues. So there you go. Personnel movement. the Montreal Canadiens have recalled up Kaapo Kahkonen to the big leagues. Now, he's not going to play, knock on wood, most likely, against St. Louis tonight as the Canadiens suit up on this Sunday matchup. But with Sami Montembeault sick, you needed to get a goaltender in there to serve as the backup. Jakub Dobeš is going to go out there and start. Kaapo Kahkonen is going to get some NHL dough for sticking around with the team today, and honestly, I think it's pretty deserved. Now, you can say that, hey, there are other goaltenders that maybe are a bit better at this stage. You could say, oh, Jacob Fowler's been so good, why don't they call him up? Well, that's the thing, right? Kaapo Kahkonen's getting called up not to play, but because they just need a body. And Kaapo Kahkonen is 29 years old. He has been a long-standing vet. I'd say that if there's anybody that probably deserves a chance to be on an NHL roster for a day, get that NHL salary and get some extra earnings, hey, it's probably Kahkonen, right? Kahkonen, excuse me. .895 save percentage with the Laval Rocket this season, .281 goals against in 9 games played. He is 6-2-0. So obviously the numbers aren't, like, amazing for Kaapo Kahkonen this season. You take a look at just the save percentages here, and you'll see that Jacob Fowler has been totally rocking in the Rocket organization. He has been superstar material. So for Kaapo Kahkonen, I mean, he's a little bit older, so they're giving him more of a spotlight in the National Hockey League this time around. Jacob Fowler, he could probably use to just wait a little bit longer and stick around in Laval, develop a little bit more, and then inevitably join the Canadiens at some point in the future. And besides, you look at just the way the Montreal Canadiens have been playing lately. Do you want Jacob Fowler with this organization? You think about the goaltending woes that Fowler and Montembeault have, not Fowler and Montembeault, Dobeš and Montembeault have exhibited over the past few weeks. Just let Fowler do his thing in the American Hockey League and let him develop at his own pace. He doesn't need to be rushed at any point at this stage. So, hey, the Canadiens are going out there and facing off against the St. Louis Blues. That'll take place in about an hour and a half from now. So Montreal making some quick roster moves before everything goes down. Is Binnington also sick? Asking for a friend. He's getting traded for Philippe Deneau. Okay, look, people are going to go out there and say that Sami Montembeault is going to be on the move here, especially for a guy like Deneau in LA, because we'd seen that rumor pop up earlier. But let's just take it how it's presented. We don't need to get into any conspiracy theories. We don't need to draw conclusions from things that aren't there. Sami Montembeault, at least based off of the word that we know, is sick. So you can choose to believe whether or not that makes sense in your brain, if he actually is sick or if he's going to get traded. But we're going to make this video as if the guy actually is sick and that this is just a pure roster move for the sake of getting a guy who is ill off the roster. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Montreal Canadiens and Vancouver Canucks roster moves. It is Lekkerimaki down. It is Kahkonen up. Sami Montembeault is sick, and I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments about all of this material. Not that big of a video today, honestly, but there isn't really that much else to talk about. Thoughts in the comment section below about all of these players. I hope you enjoyed this. If it is Schaefer, and bye.